Hello everybody, my name is Zen, and this is my end of the year Christmas vlog. I do this every year where I talk about the year, I recap it, and I go into my plans for the following year. And this year is a little different, and the reason why is because, for those of you who've been on the channel for a while, or for this year, but in particular, for those of you who are new and don't know, like within the last few months, you're new. I lost my dad to cancer this year, and it has undoubtedly been the worst year of my life. And so it's one of those interesting reflection moments where we look back at the whole year, and I realize, man, I was phoning it in. Why? Well, because I was preoccupied, understandably so. And nobody is going to blame me for that. I totally appreciate your guys' patience with that. And so I phoned it in this year, and it wasn't super great. I mean, I had some good series that we did, and in fact, I was going through my Steam recap. They do like this recap at the end of each year where they give you a bunch of stats. I played more new games this year than I ever have, which is interesting, and a lot of that is down to my first impressions series that I do. And that is largely due to the fact that more companies than ever have been sending me keys to check out their games. And it's been nice to be able to have that variety on the channel, despite having some anchors, like Terraria or things like Dragon Age and like very large RPGs. We finished Baldur's Gate 3 early this year, and it was on par to be like one of the best years on the channel, with growth and with how good the content is. I was firing on all cylinders at the beginning of the year, and then it all just kind of fell to garbage. And that's because the life train came in and just steamrolled me. But I think it's probably safe to say that I'm going to continue to phone it in for a bit. Like every day is a struggle with this. Like little things, like it's Christmas, right? This is my first Christmas without my dad, like one of the most influential people in my life. And it's tough to move through that. And there was like just a few weeks ago, my wife wanted to go down to the park, and here where we're at, the park at this time of year, it's filled with a bunch of Christmas trees, and they're all decorated and everything. But each one of those Christmas trees is a dedication to someone who passed. And a lot of it is children. Some of it is like pets. And some of it is just other family members. And I didn't realize how tough it would be for me to go there. And, I told her, yes, begrudgingly, yes, I would go walk around with her and the kids, to look at all the decorations and see what people put up. But we got there and I made it 3 feet before I just couldn't. I was just like, nope, I can't do this. I just can't. Like, I knew it. I knew that I physically could not be there. And so I had to turn around. And I have a really understanding wife, and she understood that. And it was nice for that confirmation of like, it's okay to not be okay. And that, like I said, is almost every day in a new way. And I'm finding new ways every day to still mourn. And that's going to continue for some time. So for me to sit here and give you guys a bunch of grand expectations of this next year, of all these cool series we're going to do, it's just not realistic, right? I'm going to be phoning it in for a while. And again, nobody really blames me for that. And I think that is a very good thing, that I have cultivated a culture of people who watch our content, are the same kind of people that I would want to hang out with in real life, right? Like, you guys are all sitting here giving me the patience, giving me the space to go through what I'm going through in the worst year of my life, and yet still supporting me, still watching my content and following along through all of it, because it's weird. Like, I've gone through a transformation over the last 4 years of my content being like, yes, I'm just gonna play through these games and give commentary and blah blah blah, and then suddenly I interjected a bunch of my own life and things that's going on day to day into that content, and it really personalized it for a lot of you guys. And that's something that I'm going to continue to keep doing. But it just means that sometimes the life train is going to come rolling in and it's going to make things really difficult. But you guys get to go through that with me. And honestly, sometimes that means that you're also going to be able to heal through things that's going on in your life, because it might be something similar, or God forbid something happens to one of your guys' family members. You'll have that content to go back and look at and be like, oh, I was not, like, I'm not, this isn't a unique thing. People go through this and it's okay to feel the way that I do. And, you know, honestly, I'm really happy that I managed to continue to make content through all of that, despite everything that was going on. It may not have been my best content ever, and I may have been phoning it in quite a bit, but you know what? I'm still happy to have even made it day by day. You know what I mean? And so, I look back at like the start of the Dragon Age series. I'm pretty happy with how that's going. I'm really enjoying Dragon Age Veilguard. I have enjoyed what we've done with Terraria this year, but I'm looking to kind of change it up a bit. It's been a lot of same old, but again, I've been phoning it in. Hades 2 is a freaking fantastic game, and I can't wait for the next update for that. And so like these are anchors at the moment on the channel of stuff that's going to continue happening. And at the start of the new year, I'm wanting to get back into doing more first impressions videos and just putting that variety of content out there, because it's fun, and honestly, it's really joyful to discover a new great game. And I would say maybe 1 out of every 5 of the games that I cover on first impressions end up being great, and the rest are pretty good, right? So like it's a good ratio, and probably about 1 out of every 20 ends up being like okay to mediocre to bad, like on that scale. So we have a fairly nice ratio of games that we cover on that, and 99% of them are under like $20. And I love that, or on Game Pass and stuff like that. So yeah, I really, really enjoy that series, and I'm gonna bring it back at the start of next year, and it's gonna fill in some content gaps that I may have as I work through other content. I'm gonna return to my Terraria Calamity series that I rage quit from because they super buffed a boss and it's like hyper unfair, but I will return to it probably within the first week of January. And then honestly, because of everything that's been going on, I actually don't really know what the rest of the year looks like. I watched the whole Game Awards, and I don't, off the top of my head, remember anything that's coming out next year that I'm like planning to play. Now, I know there were things, but I'm just not remembering them because this is just how life is right now. It's just I don't have capacity to keep that stuff in my brain. But I can't guarantee you that we are going to do some new series on the channel. And if there's anything in particular that caught your eye, stuff that's coming out this next year, let me know and I'll put it on my list of things to potentially do a full series for. Generally speaking, if it's an RPG, that's a pretty high likelihood I'll end up playing it. But if it's like a fighting game, it's unlikely that I'll do it as a series, but maybe as first impressions. You know, I actually played a lot of fighting games when I was a kid. I think I started with Mortal Kombat. That would probably be one of the first fighting games, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter. And I also had Virtual Fighter on my Sega Genesis because I had the 3DX, which, man, I'll tell you what, is a cool concept looking back. But it was basically a Sega Genesis, or what is it, Master System in the UK, that had an expansion, and it like not like a game expansion, but like a hardware expansion, and it was this thing that slotted into the cartridge slot, and it added additional memory so that you could play basically more demanding games on it. And Virtual Fighter was one of those that I got with the 32X, and there's a couple other, it's like a handful of other really great games I played on the 32X. Love that thing. Anyways, a little bit of nostalgia on that one. But you know, the channel in its essence, with what we're doing this next year, with what I've done for the last how many ever years, 13, it's a strange circle a circle of life, you might say. We watched Mufasa today, so that is in my head. We went to the theater for Christmas Eve, and that's the first time we've done that as a family. And you know, it was actually kind of enjoyable. Maybe we make that a tradition. Anyways, we watched Mufasa, so the circle of life is in my head. But it's interesting to me as a concept that all of the video game stuff that I do on the channel is because of my dad. And so that is why it hits me so hard, and why on one hand it makes it really difficult to continue to do content and to feel really apathetic, honestly. But at the same time, it's what fuels me, because he's the one who bought me my Nintendo, my NES, my Nintendo Entertainment System back in the day with Mario and all that. He's the one who bought me my Sega Genesis. He's the one who bought me my PlayStation 1 and my PlayStation 2 and my first gaming PC. He is the one who introduced me to games, and that is why I'm doing the channel to begin with. If none of that happened, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. And that's part of the reason why, like, it's just a really complicated bag of emotions anytime I make a video. But again, as I said, you guys totally understand. And I'm very, very grateful for that. I'm incredibly grateful for all the support that you guys have given me over this last year, over the last 13 years, over just everything. I have some ideas of crazy stuff that I want to try in 2025. I'm looking forward to putting 2024 behind me and just moving on. But I'm going to try to do a Warhammer painting video on the channel and just see how that process goes. Just talk about Warhammer and minis and tabletop games and the video games and the Warhammer stuff. And that is very relevant to a lot of you who played Space Marine 2 when it just came out, and then are also like recently watched the Secret Level episode with the 40K, which was freaking awesome. I loved that. I think it's like episode 6 or something on Secret Level. Go watch it. It's on Amazon Prime. It's a passion of mine. It's a part of what I do outside of making normal videos. And so I want to introduce that passion to other people. And so I have an idea for a cool video I want to try this next year for that, probably sooner rather than later. And just kind of experiment with it, right? See what's going on. And then of course I want to continue doing my anchors, continue doing Terraria, continue doing, as I said, the first impressions videos. I had people asking me about Life is Strange Double Exposure. I may or may not get to that. Man, those games, like the first game was so good and the rest of them kind of suck. So it was really hard for me to want to go back to that world and see how it goes, but Double Exposure seems okay, so maybe I will. And then of course we have all of the crazy stuff releasing this next year that I'm probably going to take a look at. And again, if you have any ideas, leave those in the comments below. But man, here's to looking forward and starting 2025 off as best that I can, and that's all that I think anybody can ask for me at this point. If you're a person who has lost somebody, you know what I'm going through. And if you're not, man, I feel bad for you the day that it does happen, because it sucks. It sucks, and it is okay to feel bad. Especially because it is like, it's a terrible metaphor, but I think that it works, which is that it is a wound that takes a long time to heal, and it opens up constantly. It just takes a little movement here and there, and it can open up. It just takes a holiday. It just takes doing something or eating a food that you used to eat with that person. It's just every day is a new kind of struggle, and I continue to do what I do in honor of the person who gave me this passion and introduced me to the world of video games, and continued to support me, and with every interest that I had, and was always there to be like, hey, like you're awesome and you can do this. And so my ethos in life has changed a bit to be that guy for everybody else. And so making videos, making people happy, allowing you guys to work through emotion on your own, this is something that is important to me. And it's something that I'm going to continue to do. And you can expect more of it in 2025. So Merry Christmas. I hope you guys have a nice holiday season. If you want to do like a year's, I get this question sometimes, like, hey, it's the end of the year, I like to do like a thing to support the people that you like, you know, watch. Just honestly, at this point, just become a channel member. It's great. I was doing early access episodes for Dragon Age Veilguard. It worked really well. I really liked that that type of perk. So we're gonna do that a lot more in 2025. So expect that, and we'll just continue to grow from there. Again, thank you all for watching, and we shall see you all next time.